Hello and welcome to today's expert webinar presented by Accountantsworld. My name is Div Bansali, and joining us today is Rick Telberg, the publisher of CPA Trendlines. He'll be talking about 50 ways to double your income. So once again, I wanted to thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to a really interesting hour. Rick's been on with us in previous years as well, and always has very interesting content and a lot to get through in an hour. So I'll go through my opening slides here as quickly as I can. A couple of housekeeping things in terms of using the GoToWebinar control panel. You can expand or hide the control panel by clicking on the orange arrow. So if you don't see the control panel right now, just look for an orange arrow and that will expand it out. You can listen in via computer audio or dialing in via phone call. So if you choose phone call, it'll provide you with a dial-in number and an access code. As I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, the slide deck handouts are available. Just go to the handouts tab and you'll see a PDF file there and you can download from there. And if you have any questions during Rick's presentation, go to the questions tab, type in your question, and then remember to hit send so that it comes through to Rick and myself and the other organizers here. Also, just wanted to remind you, if you are someone who is on Twitter, and if you hear anything interesting over the course of the next hour or have any feedback for us on today's webinar, you can use hashtag #expertwebinar, and we'll be checking that periodically during and after today's webinar as well. We do offer one CP for today's webinar. In order to earn CP, you need to demonstrate active participation during the live presentation, which is 3 things: attending the live webinar for no less than 30 minutes, responding to all 4 of the polling questions today. There will be 4 total. And then when you close out of the webinar at the end, when you close that window, you'll see a post-webinar survey pop up. Go ahead and fill that out and submit that. If you don't see it pop up, no worries. We'll send you an email probably tomorrow with a link to it as well. And you can go ahead and fill out the survey from there. CPE credit will be confirmed by email within 3 business days. And the one other thing, if you don't see the CPE email come in, make sure to remember to add webinar@accountantsworld.com to your trusted email list to make sure that that email comes through. The Expert Webinar Series is presented by Accountantsworld. Accountantsworld is a leading provider of cloud solutions for accounting and payroll. And the reason we created cloud solutions for those core business services is because we value those as much as you do. And we have been exclusively focused on using the power of the cloud to give you greater control over your accounting and payroll engagements, help you to better serve your clients, add more value to their businesses, and hopefully elevate the profitability of your own practice as well. If you'd like to learn more, please visit accountantsworld.com and you can get a free live demo of our solutions. Also wanted to mention, we do a weekly payroll webinar. This is focused on how to make your payroll practice more efficient, more profitable, and more hassle-free. And you can see here some of our recent testimonials from customers and what they've experienced by working with us and Payroll Relief. Thousands of accountants across the country are benefiting from using Payroll Relief, and over 65% of our customers have seen at least a 25% improvement in their payroll practices since switching to us. So the best way to get started is to go to that URL there, improveyourpayroll.com, all one word, improveyourpayroll.com, and you'll be able to sign up for our free live payroll webinar. And it just takes 35-40 minutes, and we'll walk you through how Payroll Relief can help you build a better payroll practice. A brief word about Rick Telberg. Rick, who many of you know, is the president of the Bay Street Group, LLC, the publisher of CPA Trendlines, which I know many of you subscribe to, and is considered one of the foremost experts in creating and publishing evidence-based research for the accounting services community. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and turn the floor over to Rick.
Div, thank you very much. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Great. Then let's get started. My name is Rick Telberg. I'm super excited to be here today with Accountantsworld. We have a lot to cover. The slides and the promise is that you'll get 50 ways to double your income. I am going to overwhelm you with information. We have about 100 slides to get through. There are way more than 50 ways to do this. And I'm not going to cover everything on the slides. There's plenty of links in the PDF download. There's plenty of ways to follow up by clicking through to CPA Trendlines. And I just wanted to let you know that every question is going to get answered. Either we'll answer your questions during the webinar, or I'll personally answer your questions afterwards. There's the bio on me, which Div was very kind to talk about, a little bit about CPA Trendlines. And we're going to deliver a rapid fire range of best practices, leading edge strategies, and the newest trending innovations. So you can make more money, deliver amazing client service, and have more fun. I mean, that's what we're talking about here.
Rick,
Whoops.
do you see the, yep, there we go. I think that's it.
Today's agenda. Clicking to the next slide, we're going to deliver tools, tips, methods, and secret strategies. They're not so secret, but they are culled from some of the best minds in the business and the best firms. We've selected from tens of thousands of benchmarks, data points, and emerging trends. We're doing research, and as Div said, evidence-based knowledge at all times, so that decisions you make in your practice can be data-driven.
Rick, I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt. I'm not sure that we're seeing your slides here. I'm not on my side at least. So if let me go ahead. Tom, if you want to try doing the sharing button and change the presenter over to Rick, it might not be working from my side.
Rick is the presenter, Div. I am seeing his slides fine. If everybody
Okay.
is seeing his slides fine, just say so in the questions tab.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you.
So on today's agenda, we're going to be hitting tools, tips, methods, and strategies from some of the nation's most successful firms and some of the smartest people in the business. The takeaway is a proven step-by-step roadmap for exceeding even your wildest goals. So take notes, get inspired, and get to work. These are some of the luminaries that contribute to CPA Trendlines, including Chandra Bansali, our host in the lower right-hand corner. And it's from these people that we gather some of the smartest advice that we're going to be delivering today. We deliver the information online at cpatrendlines.com through a newsletter from cpatrendlines.com, and our authors are also prolific in writing books, handbooks, and manuals about how to improve your practice, make more money, and have more fun. And there's a special offer for today's attendees that we'll get back to later, but you'll save 25% on anything at the cpatrendlines.com shop with the coupon code AW25P.
Yes.
It expires June 30th. And you'll save $150 off an annual pro membership to cpatrendlines.com at cpaclick.com. Best deal ever with the code AY5XD. And that's really you get the premium content, you get total access to all our authors. So, polling question number one. Let's see where we're at. Div, over to you. What are your plans for growing your income? And this is a answer all that apply.
Okay, and hopefully everyone is seeing the poll question up in front of them at this point. So as Rick mentioned, select all that apply and then make sure to click the submit button to make sure that your poll response is collected. Reminder, this is the first of 4 poll questions today that are required in order to earn CP credit. And so it looks like we've got a little bit over 80% of people have voted at this point. So let's go ahead and get the remaining folks in here in the next 10 seconds or so. And just a reminder to make sure to click that submit button to make sure your votes are counted. All right, we're going to give going once, going twice, and close it out. Let's see here. Not sure if the poll is closed out yet.
It looks like almost everybody's voted.
All right, so for some reason, I'm having a problem with the close button here. So Tom, if you could just silently go ahead and close it out and share that, that would be great. Thank you.
And while they're working on that, the readout here says 74% of people online today plan to grow income by adding new clients. 62% want more work from current clients. 43% are thinking about raising prices, and 21% are thinking about merging or acquiring another practice. And I'm so glad that those numbers came in so high, because those are exactly the kinds of things that we're going to be talking about. Should we move on to the next slide, or do we want to post up the polling results?
So I think we have just shared those, so you can move on ahead.
So one of the things about today's webinar is that we're going to be talking about packaging and pricing and new clients and new services and mergers and acquisitions, with some particular emphasis on payroll and client accounting services, which I know are close to the heart of the folks who know Accountantsworld. And we're going to start with package deals. There's 8 ways bundled services help you and the client. Moving from hourly billing to fixed fee and packaged offerings is transformational. And we're going to describe what an accounting package looks like and what the benefits are. And here are some of the answers. The benefits, for instance, are that many of the accountants we have worked with say that they're transformational. You get away from hourly billing, your advances and improvements in technology, efficiency, and efficacy work to your advantage when you can offer package deals. The certainty of cost for clients is a key thing for clients. They want to know how much it's going to cost them. They're not interested in your time. They're not interested in your effort. They want results. So packages are easier to sell because the client can see exactly what they're getting, and they love the fact that they can budget for the fixed cost. There's easier billing and improved cash flow with package deals. They're easier on you, and you can ask for payment in advance, which is a key thing to cash flow. Just think about that for a second, and what the impact will be on your income when you get paid in advance and when you get paid on a regular monthly retainer. It can significantly reduce your accounts receivable balance, improve the relationship with clients. And one accountant told us that packages solved her cash flow problems completely. And another thing is that your packages make it difficult to compare to competitors. If you're facing competitive stresses and strains in the market, you can differentiate yourself. When charging hourly, you're often compared to other hourly competitors, which is ludicrous, but whatever. With packages, it's highly unlikely your package contents will exactly match your competitors' offerings. So prospects will not be able to compare your prices with others. This helps to decommoditize your offerings, and that's a good thing. And then confidence in your system. Surprisingly, offering packages makes you look organized and systematized. which of course you are, and clients appreciate working with a professional with experience. Packages build the client's confidence in you simply because you look like you have a proven system. Profitability. Since you're pricing a bundle of services, you can add in the higher dollar items, such as advisory work, and build in whatever profit the market will bear. So you have far more leeway with this pricing method than with hourly and flat fee pricing. It's easier to deliver and it's easier to train employees. Each package will have the same components to deliver to clients. You're more likely to set up a checklist and procedures which can then be passed to employees to deliver the services. This makes it scalable. Packages systematize your entire operation, which then frees you up to do more of what you want to do, which is the high-end work. And like we said, it's an easier sale. When you give prospects a choice of 3 options rather than a yes-no binary option, they are much more likely to say yes. So, polling question number 2. What's going on in the market? What trends in pricing are you seeing among competitors? Please choose one. Are you seeing competitors raising prices significantly, which maybe is 10% or more? Are you seeing competitors raising prices moderately, which is maybe 6 to 10%? Are you seeing competitors mostly leaving prices unchanged, more or less than 5%? How about competitors reducing prices moderately, down 6 to 10%? See a lot of price cutting out there? And competitors reducing prices significantly by 10% or more. We're gauging here what kind of pricing trends we're seeing in the marketplace. And we have a terrific sample online today that's going to give us a good handle on the market.
All right, so we'll take about 10 to 15 more seconds here for people to get in their final votes here. Just a reminder, this is the second of the 4 poll questions today that are required in order to earn CP. All right, going once, going twice, and let's go ahead and close that out. And so what we see here is 46% competitors leaving prices unchanged. 32% competitors are raising prices moderately.
That's very interesting. And 11% are raising prices significantly. And there's that 12% that competitors are reducing prices moderately or significantly. That's putting a lot of pressure on everybody else. Very interesting spread here. Mostly we see stability with upward trends, but a disturbing number of price cutting going on in the marketplace. Not healthy for anyone in the business. So how do we handle that? Well, let's get a handle on the average project value. And let me explain first why the average project value matters. And this comes from Rob Nixon, one of our contributors. Rob's material tells us 11 ways to increase your average project value, how to stop thinking in terms of invoices and start thinking in terms of projects. And it's a way of increasing client service, increasing prices, and increasing margins. So the average project value is not the average fee per client. Let's make that clear. The average project value is where you average all of your invoices over the year. If you have 3 invoices for the one project, then that is one invoice only. You might call a project a job or a task for the client. For example, an annual compliance is one project. A budget or cash flow forecast is a project. So once you know your average project value, you can do a number of things. You can realize, first of all, that your services are worth more. And that is a immensely empowering thing. It gives you the courage to raise your prices. And you can, and so my first piece of concrete advice here is increase prices immediately, right now, today. Just start billing at a higher rate. This is the time to do it. And if you start doing it now, you will increase your tax season income by that percentage. There's nothing wrong with 2 or 3% every year. And if you do it regularly, you can always get 2 or 3%. And you can increase prices a little bit more for some of those clients that are a little bit more trouble. Offer additional services at the time of buying. And this is where we come back to packaging. And that's why packaging is so important. Develop that standard menu of services and a price list. You know what you offer, you know what your services are. We talked about how to bundle them together. And if you can have, and when you standardize a menu of services and price lists, it makes it much easier to explain to the client what you have to offer. Even things the client may not need now, but may want in the future, or things they have not considered. And you're going to price in advance, not in arrears. That means billing, again, monthly on a flat rate, getting the cash in before or as you do the work. We're talking about articulating the value of each project eloquently. I mean, explaining the project in terms that the client understands, so that compliance is not something that simply has to be done. Compliance is a way to start communicating with the client on the value of what you do. And it's an opportunity to get rid of those low margin services and those low margin clients. So one of the things that you can start doing today, right after this webinar, is go over those A, B, C, D clients. Who are those D clients? This is the time to weed them out. This is the time to send them a letter, either increasing the prices on them, or better yet, referring them out to another provider. Maybe a provider that you don't quite like as much. But if you've got trouble making clients, this is the time to get rid of them, because this is the buildup to next year's busy season. And when you talk about average project value, you're going to be automatically improving your language and your sales skills, because you will have a handle on what it is that you're delivering. And you're going to be targeting more profitable clients and services when you understand your average project value. Because understanding the project with the bundle, it gives you an idea, a very specific, quantifiable amount of the value of the client, not just this year, but the lifetime value of the client. So you'll be using value-based fees, not a multiple of time. And so when you start with average project value, you're kind of backing into value-based billing, value pricing, without the complications of thinking about value pricing. It's one of the easiest ways to get into value pricing and away from hourly billing that I've ever heard of, and I think Rob is brilliant for bringing it into your average project value. He calls it the new growth equation. So if we can get a customer to buy 4 products from us, then we can keep the customer for a very long time. If they buy only 1 or 2 products, it's easier for them to leave. And it's the same for for all accounting firms. If the client buys one product from us, say annual compliance, then they're not really married to us. In internet speak, the stickiness is just not there. The vast majority of clients have unmet needs, and our job is to find out what they really need and to offer it to them. When Rob Nixon shifted accounting firms to this method, he went from an average of 1.5 projects per year to 6 with that test firm. So here's how. Number one, productize your existing services into a definitive list with prices. Create new services. Leverage off other firms and find out what they're doing. Lower the barriers to doing business with free phone calls and emails. Don't charge hourly for phone calls and emails. You want phone calls and emails. You want to be bothered. You have to pick up the phone. You have to respond to the emails. This is what clients want. Every time they call you is an opportunity, not a hassle. And you build relationships by having a regular communication schedule when you build in a project mentality. It's easier to educate your team to find opportunities. Rob agrees with Sandy Leva on that. So think in terms of a minimum of 4 products per client. You can think in terms of tax and bookkeeping and payroll, and I bet you can think of that 4th. Work out what they haven't got on your client service matrix and target clients for selling that. Constantly market services through all channels, and we'll get into all channels later on. Everything from referrals to social networking online. Have a service theme for the month report. It's a great way to focus your attention, your energies, and as well the people in your organization, and a way of getting a message out in an organized way to the prospects, to your client list. Number 10, have your intellectual property selling opportunities radar on at all times. Be sensitive to it. You develop intellectual property. You're not selling time, you're selling your skills, your intellect. And then find out what clients really need. Ask them. Don't prejudge. Offer. They can only say no. The simplest business model in the world is find the need and fill it. And our duty of care to every client is to offer every service we have to every client we have. By doing this, we continually innovate and invent new products and services because our clients tell us they want them. So the number of projects the client buys from us is one of the easiest in this new growth equation. We already have a high level of client loyalty and trust. Clients we know have unmet needs. We just have to ask the right questions. Polling question number 3. How confident are you that you will be able to achieve your growth goals in the next 12 months? Please choose one. Are you highly confident, mostly confident, somewhat confident, or less than somewhat confident? And the results are coming in.
All right, so we've got about 2/3 of folks have already voted, now about 80% of people, so we'll give another 15 seconds or so here. And Rick, while we're waiting on this, can I go ahead and ask one of the recent questions that came in?
Yes.
Sometimes low margin services lead one to some other high margin services, such as payroll leading to compilation services. I'm guessing that's compliance. Is this a good approach?
It's a good approach. Yes, it is a good approach. You don't want to be delivering any services at a loss, but you want to bundle them with other services that are more highly profitable. So payroll bundled with client accounting services is pretty much a natural, and it's the wrong way to go about it is to sell one service at a time. The right way to go about it is to solve a problem to create a solution for clients. If you're doing payroll for a client, there's probably something else that you're already doing for them, or that they could be getting from you. So payroll is a great in, but unless you can make it profitable and bundle it with something else, it's not the be all and end all. I think we have the results in from the poll.
Yep. So we have, let's see, 41% said somewhat confident, 33% said mostly confident, 15% highly confident, 10% less than somewhat confident.
Okay, I have a question, and for everybody online here today. And the question is, and we won't be able to show show the answer to these questions, but we'll deliver them to everybody after the webinar in the follow-up. If you're less than somewhat confident, if you're somewhat confident, if you're mostly confident, what's the one thing that you need to do to move yourself from less to somewhat, from somewhat to mostly, from mostly to highly? What is the one thing that's holding you at less than the confidence level you want? It could be a personal issue. It could be a staffing issue. It could be a capacity issue. It could be a capital issue. Uh, Tell us in the question box your answer to what's the one thing that will get you to the next level up in confidence. And while we're doing that, we'll move on to Ed Mendelowitz with some really practical ways to get new clients. We'll start with 1040 clients. And he starts with simply ask each client you meet with to recommend you to a friend. If they recommend you to an enemy, you should rethink what you're doing. I like Ed's advice. Ask attorneys, insurance agents, real estate brokers, business brokers, and other people you interact with professionally for referrals. Now, referrals remain the #1 way of getting new clients, and we know from the earlier polling question how important it is today to get new clients. Send an extra blank organizer to your tax clients and ask them to pass it on to a friend. If you use a minimum fee schedule, include that with the organizer. Mail flyers to new homes. This is real old school, but it works. It's a common technique. It usually yields some clients to make the mailing a break-even effort for the first year, and the profit comes with the lifetime value of the clients. Advertising. Advertise for small business clients and include a less prominent position that you do individual tax returns, but you're looking for business clients. Ed says people think that accountants who do business will do a better job on their 1040s, and they expect to pay a little more for their returns. And that's interesting. Position yourself as a business client specialist, especially with the direction 1040s are going in with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. Advertise for QuickBooks consulting and include a less prominent position that you do for individual tax returns. Same reason as above. You can test this and see if one does better than the other. Hire a telemarketing service. If you have an accessible office or storefront, put up a sign. Walk-ins are welcome. This is pretty basic stuff for any retail business, but it's amazing that as accountants, we do less retail marketing than our retail clients. Join, go to meetings, get to know people, and the business will come. Just get out there, get out from behind the desk. Ask clients to hire you to do tax returns for their employees as a benefit. and make a volume price arrangement. That was a new one on me, but every business you have has employees. They all need taxes done. They all have relatives and cousins and friends. And it's a great way to network deeper into the organization. It's also a great way to network deeper into the ownership of the business client organization. And on our list is buy a tax practice. They are uh, a good deal these days. And if this is the off season, this is the season to be looking for a tax practice to buy. It's about one of the easiest ways to double your income for next tax season. Now, before we go to the next, let me go to the next slide. Ask each client you meet with to recommend you to a friend who has a business. And now we're into business clients. Um, Accountants often ask me, sure, I would love to ask for referrals. How do I ask for referrals? How does that conversation go? How do I open that conversation? What do I say? What are the first things I say when I'm asking for a referral? So we're going to crowdsource this, and we're going to share the answers with everybody. In the question box right now, what works for you? My question to everybody on the call right now is, how do you ask for a referral? How do you break the ice for that conversation? What are the first words you use to open the conversation to ask for a referral? Well, when those answers come in, we'll distribute them to the rest of the audience after we're done here, because everybody needs a little bit of an icebreaker. Next.
And by the way, Rick, I'll jump in and do a quick self plug here. I'm going to be doing an expert webinar in, I believe, in October on marketing your practice. And one of the things that I'm going to be covering in detail is referral techniques. So I'll get into some of the nitty gritty of it, but I think I'm looking forward to hearing what you and our attendees today have to say at a high level right now.
I'm loving the questions that are coming in. These are, tell your friends if you like my service. If you didn't, what can I improve? I make clients where we're looking for new clients. My confidence level will increase if my clients are performing well in their business. There's some really good comments here. You guys are doing great work. Again, for business clients, attorneys, insurance agents, real estate brokers, business brokers, flyers to new homeowners promoting that you handle home-based and small businesses. And you know how many home-based and small businesses there are out there now. Advertising, old school, but it works. Advertise for client accounting services. So we're up to polling question number 4. What's the most important single item for you to achieve your income goals this year? And I guess the 5. That it might be mastering the new tax code, that it might be implementing new technology and processes in your firm, that it might be getting everyone at the firm, owners and staff, pulling in the same direction, restructuring pricing and service lines, and making a deal for a merger or an acquisition.
Good.
What's
and
Mhm.
so we've got, I think because it's a little bit more to read here, where we've got folks who are still coming in at this point, so we'll give about 20 more seconds here for people to select their option. Remember to click the submit button to make sure that your vote is counted. And this is the 4th polling question out of the 4 today that are required in order to get CP credit. All right, so we'll take just one last swing here. Going once, going twice, and closed. So, Rick, we see almost an even number between implementing new technology and processes and restructuring my pricing and service lines. 22% for mastering the new tax code, 13% getting everyone at the firm pulling in the same direction, and 8% making a deal for a merger or acquisition.
This is huge. This is amazing. 29% are talking about restructuring pricing and service lines. 28% are talking about implementing new technology and processes in the firm. That adds up to almost 60% of of the people on the call today are talking about fundamentally changing the way they do business, whether it's their internal processes through technology and procedures, or whether it's about the pricing and the service they offer to clients, that outward looking. That is huge. We're talking, this is very interesting because we're talking here about a big pivotal year in the profession. This is the year where everything changes. If you don't make these changes this year, if you don't restructure your pricing and service line this year, if you don't get the right technology and processes in your firm done this year, let alone master the tax code, you won't have a second chance to do it. You won't have a second chance to learn the tax code next year. By next year, the technology you have will be out of date, and by next year, everybody else will have restructured their pricing and service lines. At least everybody else on this call. So this is the time to do it. This is the time for action. Back to basics with August Aquila. August has been in this business for a long time. He's seen every size business. One of our most valued contributors at CPA Trendlines. His new book is Price It Right, about pricing. So he's got 25 ways to grow your practice. And we'll go through these very quickly. Start with your current clients. And I saw in the questions that current clients are an important factor in moving up the confidence levels. Compile a list of clients by NICS code. You know, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. NAICS is pretty simple stuff from the Commerce Department. But you want to know who your clients are. Are they not-for-profits? Are they construction? Are they manufacturing? Are they professional services firm? And determine your core audience. Who are your best clients? Sometimes we focus too much on our worst clients because they take up all our time. But who are our best clients? Where is our expertise? Where are our friends and network potential? And then encourage our partners and managers to be aware of what we specialize in and hold everyone accountable for not cross-selling, cross-serving clients. Everybody who comes into contact with a client or anybody who comes in contact with a client's tax return should be able to look at that and have that conversation and be able to come up with an idea that, well, if we're not doing their payroll, who is? If we're not doing their bookkeeping, who is? If we're not doing something for them, who else is, and why not? And then get out of the office. August has the same advice everybody else has. Meet with your key clients quarterly, at least quarterly, about their needs and goals. I mean, how many of us meet with our clients once a year just for tax season? And is that even a meeting? Mostly it's by phone and email these days. And we have to maintain a pipeline report by partner and manager if you're of that size firm. But we have to maintain a pipeline report on who our prospects are, who we're dealing with, who our best clients are, what we're trying, what opportunities we see in them, and how we're following up. And then we focus on it on a regular basis. This requires discipline for ourselves and discipline for the rest of the organization. And if we don't have the discipline to do it ourselves, then we have to designate somebody else in our organization to hold us accountable. I know that I put off the things that I don't like to do until my assistant comes back to me and says, it's time to do it. And then we have to emphasize teamwork. Think about cross-thinking between compliance and consulting, and provide incentives for clients to use more of our services. So if they're using payroll, well, how can we incentivize them to take that bundle? And we have to provide ongoing service and product training and updates to everyone in the firm. Anyone who talks to a client or handles a piece of paper from a client has to know what we're capable of so that they can contribute to the conversation in a meaningful way. And hey, once in a while, quiz each other about what our services and products are to be sure that we all know what we're talking about. Institutionalize an onboarding process for all new and existing employees. It's tough enough finding good staff, but do we have the right systems in place? And it's just a matter of checklists. Do we have the right checklists in place to get people up to speed as quickly as we need them? At some level, you might want to invest in a professional sales training program. It's not rocket science. And think of it as learning how to listen to the opportunities that your clients are talking about, and then understanding how to present those opportunities back to the clients, and understand what our clients' long-term goals are. We want to be a part of their lives. We want to be a part of their legacy. We're helping them build not just a better business or a smarter tax return. We're helping them build a better life. We want them to know we're on their side. And we want to provide on-the-job training because no one else is going to train people for us. We have to carve out the time to train ourselves and to train the people we work with on a daily basis. And we have to think in terms of niches and industries and specialties, whether we have an organization, a firm that's big enough to have teams, or whether we're sole practitioners. We have to focus, and we have to develop those client lists. And now that we know who our best clients are, we know how to target new companies moving into our local area. And you know what? It's not just our local area. More and more firms are breaking down geographic barriers and specializing in things across states. I know firms that specialize in veterinarians, firms that specialize in healthcare billing, firms that specialize in ag. And it doesn't matter where the customer is. It doesn't matter where the accountant is. They specialize, the word gets out, they get the business. But we must constantly highlight the importance of new business development. This is our lifeblood. Getting new clients, as we said at the top, getting more business from current clients. And we have to involve our assistants in reviewing client accounts and following up on opportunities. We can't do it ourselves, and there's a lot of work that can be outsourced and delegated. Remember, the key fundamental economic model of a professional services firm and an accounting firm is leverage, owner to staff ratio. We need to be able to focus the owner's attention on building the business and outsourcing, delegating the more routine tasks to staffers or outsiders. Get out of the office. You can't develop new business until you meet new people. Go on joint sales calls whenever possible. Bring your assistant along. Let them see the team. You got good people working with you. Be proud of them. Put them out front. Make sure everybody understands what best practices are. Make sure everybody understands that we are making progress together. We are moving forward as an organization. And then once we can focus on understanding our clients' real needs, we can figure out how to satisfy them. So finally, keep adding to this list. This is a moving target. We will always be adding to this list. There's always another way to do it. Moving on to lists, Jason Bowman, who writes tax resolution systems for us, explains how to take a tax practice and move it into a high ticket business of tax resolution systems. You're talking people who are behind on their taxes here, or a little bit desperate, and the first law of taking on a tax resolution client is get paid in advance. Funny, they have the money to do that. And I recommend Jason's work because he has checklists for everything. And although they apply to tax resolution specifically, they apply to everything we do in our office. He has checklists for classified ads, print marketing, direct mail, professional networking, seminar marketing, blogging marketing, social network, pay-per-click marketing. He's got it all. So that tax resolution systems book that he has is more than just about tax resolution. It is a guide to putting your new client system, putting your new revenue generating system on autopilot. It's a brilliant collection of mechanizing, automating your business practice. Now, I'm going to slow down and finish with just 11 tax client questions that can lead to year-round billing from Lake Christian out on the West Coast. And if you haven't thought of these questions, if you haven't tried them, this is the season to look into them. How has the client been trending for the past 3 years in terms of revenue, cost, profits, cash flow? Is the client open to having a trend in industry benchmarking analysis performed? Boy, that's a nice high ticket item. How current are its accounting procedures, software and IT system? We're upgrading our technology and processes. How current are our clients? These are the kinds of questions that can elicit some really high-end business. How's the client situated from a debt to equity perspective? Hey, that's an accountant's question. Debt to equity. If the operations have improved, are there opportunities to discuss more attractive bank terms? Is there excess cash in the business that should be used to pay down debt or used for distributions? And there are a few other considerations, which I'll skip over. Has the company expanded or scaled back operations? Or is it planning such changes? What's changing? And what's changing in every state that they do business in? You know, we've got this national sales tax ruling that's about to come down. That's going to complicate things. Will our clients be acquiring or disposing of any particular assets, companies and divisions? Is the client aware of some of the new aspects of the TJCA? Everybody's hungry for more information on the tax code. And how about the client's workforce? Wage and benefits issues, OSHA issues, minimum wage increases. Are there training grants and low-cost training through local colleges? This is where your networking really pays off. What's the impact of the Affordable Care Act and the changes that keep coming through all the time? What's the impact of the TJCA? How about regulatory challenges? A lot of regulatory changes going on these days. Are our clients in touch with the right regulatory agencies? Are any key owners or executives approaching retirement age? That's a big issue. That's a big question and a big opportunity. Financial planning, estate planning, retirement planning. not just for them, but for their heirs, their successors, and the business succession. Have there been any significant changes in the client's family situation? College-bound kids, marriages, divorces, illnesses, or deaths. I was just talking to somebody who has a sophomore in high school. They're getting straight A's. They're worried about how to pay for college. That kid will be the first kid in that family that goes to college. And it's a source of pride in that family. And they're wondering how they can afford it. And their accountant can help. So how did the client's investment and retirement portfolios perform relative to the market? I mean, just take a look at how they're diversified or not diversified, where their assets are. You know what's best for the client. Without selecting particular stocks or bonds, you can give them solid advice on how they should be positioned. Changes in the estate and gift tax are the routine question. Uh, Anytime they've gone through a life change, wills and trusts, assets, titled property, life insurance, long-term care, all good questions that show we're interested. And are there any synergies, that's a word, between your firm's clients that may offer introduction opportunities? So between your clients and other firms, lawyers, financial advisors, real estate, I mean, are there ways to find out what their clients need? Real estate agents know who's moved into the neighborhood, and financial advisors know who's doing their taxes. So we've got a ton of resources for you at CPA Trendlines. Things like the Tax Season Opportunity Guide from Ed Mendlowitz, to the Rosenberg Map Survey full of benchmarks. Hitendra Patil, who works for Accountantsworld, wrote Accountantsworld, a terrific piece of work on thinking like a business person when you approach your practice. And we're winding down to the last few minutes. So I just wanted to reiterate that everybody on this call can save 25% on anything at cpatrendlines.com/shop. Coupon code AW for Accountantsworld, 25P, P for percent. Expires June 30th, so move quickly. And you can save $150 off an annual pro membership to cpatrendlines.com at cpa-click.com/best-deal-ever with code AY5XD, and you get all of this stuff that I've given you today in detail with links to even more. And Div, that's my last slide. How'd we do?
That's great. Thank you very much, Rick. By the way, Rick, a question came in from someone who said they would like to use some of these questions that you just put up there when meeting with prospects or clients, and wanted to check if it was okay with you if they were to do so.
Please do. And report back on how they work. Thank you very much. That's the best compliment somebody can receive is, can I steal your work? Yes, please.
Absolutely. Um, so let's see here. Just want to be able to show this. All right, so let's see if I can get this back up here. Okay, so I just wanted to thank all of you for joining us today. Our next expert webinar, that shouldn't say June 20th, that should actually say June 27th, a week from today. We will be having Randy Johnston, who's the Executive Vice President at K2 Enterprises. He's going to be presenting his 2018 tech update, talking about all the latest things you need to know in terms of infrastructure, software, the cloud, etc. Hardware also he'll be covering. So it's a rapid fire session, a lot like today's, going over everything tech related that you need to know for yourself personally and for your firm as well. If you haven't yet registered for all of the remaining expert webinars, you can go to 2018webinars.com, 2018webinars.com, and register for all of them at one time. It just takes a second to do so. And as I mentioned before, if you'd like a live personalized demo of Accountantsworld solutions, please visit accountantsworld.com or give us a call at 888-999-1366. We've got some practice development consultants standing by right now if you'd like to go ahead and schedule that. So thank you again for joining us today. Rick, thank you for your time today and for all of your information. And when you close out of the webinar today, you'll be seeing a post-webinar survey. Remember to fill that out as the last step in order to earn CP credit. Thanks very much, and we look forward to seeing you in a week.